Hello and welcome to Umass Beyond the Classroom. I'm your host, Kevin Romani. Today we are sitting down with the co-founders of Real Music Exposed, a student organization seeking to find and promote real music. Joining us now are Akia Francis and Raphael Canton. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get started. Why don't you just tell us what Real Music Exposed is?
So Real Music Exposed is a registered student organization based here on UMass Amherst's campus, and our incentive is just to bring together the hip-hop community on the campus. So whether it's through music discussions, listening parties, whether it's through artist interviews, meet and greets, freestyle competitions, and things of that nature.
Okay. And when did you create the organization initially?
We started last year. We actually talked about it at the Activities Expo last year around September, and we were founded in October of last year.
Okay. And this is for both of you. What are your backgrounds that got you really invested into hip-hop and your love for it?
So I just come from a family of 6 of us. I just was really close to my brothers, and they just always listened to a lot of rap music. So Tupac, AZ, Nas, Biggie. So I really grew up kind of in that environment.
Sure. And you, Raphael?
A lot of similar things. I'm from Queens, New York, and I have 2 siblings. I'm the youngest, and my sister had like all the classic rap albums, Dr. Dre, Biggie, Tupac, and I just grew up listening to that stuff. My dad also had like 80s rap CDs, so it was something always good to listen to, and it's definitely shaped who I am today.
Nice. Very good. And back to RMX, how many members do you have within the group, you know, both the e-board and just in general helping out?
We have 6 e-board members, and we have about like 4 or 5 like general body members who help out so far.
Okay. And what was the major driving force for the creation of RMX?
There isn't an RSO quite like RMX on campus prior to us creating RMX, and even still to this day. So you know, we both are just huge hip-hop enthusiasts, and it's kind of like, why isn't there an RSO like this? Okay, let's start it. So that was the driving force.
Yeah. And Raphael, what was your inspiration, and what do you hope RMX accomplishes?
My inspiration was, I guess it would be like my passion for the culture of hip-hop. I think it crosses so many different aspects of society, and it's definitely become like such a forefront, like it's come to the forefront of society in terms of like culture. It's on MTV, it's on BET, it's on a lot of different channels, it's on the radio, it's everywhere, and I feel like a lot of people weren't connected on campus at UMass through it, so like I think it was a great opportunity to start there and like have it organized, because I always hear discussions, informal discussions about like hip hop and who's the top rapper and what's the greatest song or greatest rap album. So I think it's something that's great that we're starting.
Great. And what and whom do you hope to represent through RMX?
So just your typical college hip-hop rap music listener. You know, Real Music Exposed, it's kind of, sometimes we get a lot of flack for being subjective. Even our title, Real Music Exposed, is like subjective, because like, what really is real music? But, you know, real music touches people differently. So we kind of just want to bring together just the typical college kid who just likes to listen to hip hop.
Right.
That's as simple as it gets.
Right.
So, yeah.
Would you like to expand a little further on, you use the term real music a lot, so what kind of goes into real music for you two?
For me, music with meaning. So
Okay.
definitely content, lyrics, music that's saying something, has a story behind it, really is real music to me.
For me, it's similar. It crosses you. It makes you, take notes, compare, and it definitely hits you in the heart. You care about it. You can relate to it, and like it's just something that like there's a lot of passion put into it. Like one thing I always think about is like Biggie's everyday struggle. Like it might not talk about something that's going on in my life, but we can all relate to something about struggle or something just in life in general.
Okay. And how does RMX expose real music?
We have different events like listening parties, listening sessions to albums. We had a J. Cole listening session. last month, and we had a lot of like discussion about the passion in his lyrics and the truth, the reality in his lyrics, and I think things like that is what brings people together because it's just a good opportunity to just talk about like these type of real things. Sometimes, you know, like when we talk about real music exposed, sometimes in music there isn't any reality that you can't really relate to in some music. So I think like with something like J. Cole or an artist like that who talks about real life and things anyone, a college student, can relate to, I think it's something that draws all of us together.
Okay.
We've also sat down with fairly up-and-coming artists such as Casey Veggie and Big Crit and done one-on-one interview. It was great. Backstage after the Wiz Khalifa concert last year, we met Big Crit and we were just interviewing and getting his his insight on his music and his up-and-coming album at the time. So interviews really help to expose the artist to their listeners, and I guess RMX was kind of like the outlet to help help him do so.
Right. Okay. Are there contemporary artists on the air right now that you haven't really had a chance to explore through RMX yet that you're hoping to soon?
Yeah, there are some artists. One that we haven't talked about fully yet is a artist who just got signed. His name's A$AP Rocky. I don't know if you know anybody. There's a couple others. I mean, Casey Veggies was like somebody that we really didn't talk about ever, and then like when he came to campus, or he came to Northampton, we made the trek there and interviewed him, and it was something open to discuss. So like there's a lot of like new music, especially in today's like internet world where like music just hits you rapidly. Mixtapes are rampant, so it's definitely something that like there are a lot of artists. It's just maybe you could say they're on like we haven't found them yet. Like,
and even artists like Wale and Rick Ross, we've had talks about kind of sitting down and critiquing like who is Rick Ross, who is Wale, because artists like them, they start off with one kind of sound, and over the years they kind of switch up their style, whether it's through development, whether it's through the team they sign with, and like those are artists that Real Music we have yet to kind of sit down and critique, and we do a lot of critiquing. We're all like huge music listeners, so we know our stuff.
Good. I'm sure you do. To have the passion to create something like this. And speaking of that passion, what are some events that you've held in the past that you're really proud of, and why were they important to you?
Our biggest, our notable one, and it was most recent, was we all met J. Cole. So we had an exclusive J. Cole meet and greet, which I kind of, because I do promotions with J. Cole on the side outside of Real Music Exposed, so I kind of took that connection and got the opportunity to set up a one-on-one on his tour bus, which was pretty cool. Yeah. We've had a MTV music discussion, for the 2010 MTV greatest MTV.
Hottest MCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, MTV's had a top 10 hottest MCs list, and we debated who should be in that list and who should be out, and a lot of arguments like happened during that.
Oh, I mean, of course.
Yeah, it's like, it's something good to like, because MTV is such a mainstream like media outlet, so it's a good chance for us to like say as college students, do we really feel like this artist is really as big as mainstream media tries to make them seem?
Right.
Another event we had last year, we had a freestyle competition. It was during the Association of Diversity in Sports, Hoops for Hope. They gave the money to I think it was to Japan for like the cause, and we did a side effort by having the freestyle competition. We had like 40 people standing around. We had like 8 rappers, and we gave them a chance to freestyle. It was very entertaining. We got MV Concepts as a sponsor, and they were able to support us and help us out. And the winner was able to get 2 tickets to a Mac Miller concert. So
that's really great.
Yeah.
How about in the future? Do you have other upcoming events that you're looking forward to hosting?
This weekend, actually, on Saturday, November 5th, at 1:30, we're going to have the RMX Cypher Saturday. We're going to continue this throughout the rest of the year. It's going to be every Saturday at 1:30 at the Umass Tailgate Homecoming. And November 15th, we're going to have a Drake album listening party. His second album, Take Care, is coming out that day, so we're going to have a listening party for that for people to discuss.
Great. Now, do you see RMX growing and, beyond UMass? And if so, how do you hope to accomplish this growth?
I see initially us like trying to take over UMass campus and bringing everyone together, but in the future, in the next 2 to 3 years, I see us like trying to expand into the 5-college system. Amherst College, Hampshire College, they all have different types of hip-hop events, a lot of old school hip-hop like from the 80s, and it would be great for us to like plan events with them, work with them together, because there definitely isn't, even though it's a 5-college system, there aren't many events planned between all 5 like that. So it'd be something great, especially with the locations of all 5. They're relatively close to each other, and maybe you never know in the future, it could just take over the whole country.
Absolutely, you could take over the whole country. And that's definitely a great first initial step to try to just focus on the 5 colleges. I think that'd be great. So for those who saw this, viewers interested in RMX, what would be the best way for them to contact you or to find a list of further upcoming events?
You can definitely check us out on Blogspot, which is realmusicexposed.blogspot.com, and that's Xposed spelled Xposed. They also can follow us on Twitter. We have Twitter at, again, realmusicexposed, Xposed.
Okay, great. Well, that about wraps it up for us today. I would again like to thank our guests, Akia and Raphael, for joining us on the show to represent Real Music Exposed. Thank you both very much.
And thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And we hope you will join us again in the future for another episode of UMass Beyond the Classroom. Thank you.